Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahushua,
Barakatah Yahushua,
Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahushua,
Barakatah
Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash, a double honor to the apostles, the elders, and salutations to you, sincere brothers teaching in truth and in sincerity. This lesson will be entitled Demas, D-E-M-A-S. All right, Colossians 4:14.
This is Colossians chapter 4, verse 14. Luke, the beloved physician, and Demas greet you.
Right. So Demas was a part of this truth at a particular time. Now jump to Philemon 1:24.
This is Philemon chapter 1, verse 24.
Come.
Marcus, Aristarchus, Demas, Lucas, my fellow laborer.
Right. Another precept that proved that Demas was once a fellow laborer. Now let's get a quick overview on Demas. We'll get 2 Timothy 4:10. Okay, that's cool.
This from Zondervan Bible Dictionary for Demas.
Well, you know what? Let's read it. Read that scripture first.
2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 10. For Demas hath forsaken me.
Right. So Demas has forsaken me. Who is me? Talking about Apostle Paul. So one time he was a fellow laborer, then he forsaken Apostle Paul. What happened to him? Go ahead, bro.
For Demas hath forsaken me,
Right.
having loved this present world.
Having loved this present world. Okay, so basically Demas lost his spirit. All right, and he was infatuated with the love for this world.
Right.
And at this time frame, if Demas is on earth, okay, he's in that same life.
Yep.
He probably started off in the truth and then became enticed with these worldly things because of his lust and unbridled desires.
Right. Hey, because Demas is subject to that spirit that he initially had. So he's doing the same thing as he did then. It says, and is departed into Thessalonica, Crescens to Galatia.
Right, so Demas left Apostle Paul and he went to where?
Departed unto Thessalonica,
Con.
Crescens to Galatia, and Titus unto Dalmatia.
And that's the point. That's the point. He had the spirit, and then he lost the spirit. Okay, and we see this all the time with so-called former brothers that was once in the truth. Whether it was by a woman or just because they just got tired and worn out. But we know that they weren't basically elected. They were only called. Okay, and not chosen. That's what I'm saying.
This First John 2:19. They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us.
Demons, like Demas, ITR, all right, Yaradun, I said ITR, Malakshar, all right, and the list go on, man. All right, because once you put your hand to the plow, regardless if you wear great millstone or not, you're still supposed to be teaching the doctrine of truth as we're teaching. But at the same time frame, you can't stop.
Right. And Judas Iscariot, if he had not hung himself, he would have been back into the world.
Yeah.
And because his purpose was already served.
Right.
You know, and he was noble amongst them that followed Yahweh Shah. You know, but truth be told, he was never really truly with them or a part of them.
No.
He had one purpose, to be in as a covert to betray our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shah.
Right. So Judas Iscariot and Demas are examples of what not to be. All right. You have something, bro?
Yeah, but they went out that they might be made manifest.
So they had to be made manifested. Why? Because for prophecy's sake, okay? Because you're gonna have individuals that actually had the fire one time and then that fire left. Why? Because they were not actually chosen to receive salvation.
They're pretty much just examples for the elect for what not to do.
Yeah.
That's scary. That they might be made manifest that they were not all of us.
Right. So you gotta have individuals like Demas and Yaraduns and the ITRs and Malakshars and so on and so forth. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58. Therefore, my beloved brethren, because Demas was a brethren, a fellow laborer, right? Be ye steadfast.
You have to be ye steadfast. Go ahead.
Unmovable.
Unmovable.
always abounding in the work of the Lord.
Right, because basically, if you have these characteristics of what the brother just identified, then you're not going nowhere.
Right.
All right, but only the elected individuals will have such characteristics as he called out.
Right.
All right, so these individuals are going to have these characteristics from A all the way to Z, and not from just A to D. Because when you don't fight the good fight, what happens? You don't receive salvation.
Right.
You know?
For as much as ye know that your labor is not vain
Right.
in the Lord.
So what we're doing, hey, is not in vain.
Right.
Okay? Because why? This same labor is gonna lead to salvation. All right? You just have to have the faith and spirit to believe.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, 'cause the scriptures say those that endure to the end, the same shall be saved. So if you revert back into the world and loving this present world, then you are going to scripture say what? You know, hand joining hand, the wicked should not go unpunished.
Right.
So if the Heavenly Father is going to destroy this land or this current world, and you're being partakers with this current world, then you're going to partake of that same judgment of destruction.
That's it. That's it.
And the labor you put into this truth when you come in, once you take your hand off that plow, that labor counts for nothing. I mean, it's obsolete because you took your hand from the plow. So therefore, the Lord is not going to acknowledge any labor you put into that truth before you turn back to the world.
All right, the brother's also going to get another overview for Demas, 2 Timothy 4:10. We'll get
This is for Demas in the Greek. All right, it says, Demas, governor of the people, a companion of Paul, who deserted the apostle when he was a prisoner at Rome and returned to Thessalonica.
So at the time of Apostle Paul's lowest, what happened to Demas? He wasn't a stand-up guy. Now read 2 Timothy 4:10.
2 Timothy 4:10. For Demas had forsaken me, having loved this present world.
Right, so you have to combat your love for the present world. So how do you do this? Let's get 1 Corinthians 7:31. Okay? You gotta fight those desires and urges to return back to the world, man. Okay, that's part of that old creature. All right, and you haven't been born again, okay, truly born again, if you still have these desires. Now we know every now and then, you know, it's something you may want to do, but you got to use a spiritual perspective. But the end all be all is you supposed to be disconnected from this thing we call the world. Go ahead.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 31.
Uh-huh.
And they that use this world
So you're supposed to use this world. Go ahead.
as not abusing it.
And not abuse it, because when you abuse the world, what happens? Then these desires are coming back, attaching itself to you, man. Go ahead, bro.
For the fashion of this world passeth away.
Right, the image of this world is going to pass away, man. All right, so you can't have no love for something that's no a continuing process. This is not a continuing city. All right, only the elect is going to spiritually detach from this world. Okay. Also get Micah 2 and 10. You got something else?
Okay.
You can bring out yours first.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 3, verse 20. Again, when a righteous man doth turn from righteousness.
So, okay, so you came into the truth, right? All right? You've been born again. You done left that old creature. You became that new creature in Yahushua. Because while you've been born again, you've been baptized or washing by the Holy Spirit. Okay, go ahead, bro.
Again, when a righteous man doth turn from his righteousness and commit iniquity, and I lay a stumbling block before him, he shall die.
Right. So, and what was Demas' stumbling block? His love for the world. Okay, so that's a stumbling block. And unfortunately for Demas, he could not get around it. And what happened? Hey, he's not going to receive the ultimate salvation until the kingdom of heaven.
Yep.
He has to come in as a 2/3, man. Okay, meaning that he's going to have to be born again by sexual activity amongst the elect.
Because thou hast not given him warning, he shall die in his sin.
Right, and so that's what we're doing to our people. We're telling them, okay, look, this is the grace period. All right, this is the cool of the day for you to get right with Yahweh Hashem Al-Shai, and only the elect is going to hearken.
Right. And he received this warning from the Apostle Paul.
Yeah.
It says, And his righteousness, which he hath done, shall not be remembered.
Right, so Demas' righteousness is not going to be remembered by Yahweh and Yahushua. Only that example of what not to do. All right, discontinue yourself from this world, man. Go ahead, bro.
But his blood will I require at thine hand.
Right, because why? If you're not teaching the elect and also the entire nation of what not to do, then the Most High is going to destroy you.
Right.
Because you're not fulfilling your profession as being a prophet.
Yeah, you still got to do your portion.
You got to do your portion, whether they hear or
Whether
whether
they
they
forbear.
forbear. All right, bro, get Micah 2:10, and we can end with Galatians 5 and 16. Got something, Scott? Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Micah 26.
This is Micah chapter 2, verse 10. Arise ye and depart,
Spiritually arise, spiritually depart. Go ahead.
for this is not your rest,
This is not your rest, right?
because it is polluted.
This whole entire place is polluted, man.
It shall destroy you.
Right, it shall destroy you. Why? Because basically there's no truth. All right? Most of all our people, 2/3 of our people, believe in the philosophies of this society. Go ahead.
Even with a sword destruction.
With the sword destruction. All right, so you're supposed to spiritually disconnect yourself from this world, man. All right, truly be born again, utilizing the comfort to get you through your tribulations and trials and so on and so forth, man. All right, you use the word, you don't abuse it. You know, when you abuse anything, what happens? Now you're out of balance. And then what does that do? That's another promotion for you to continue to sin, which will ultimately lead to the avenue of death. All right? Go ahead, bro.
This is the book of, I'll get 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world,
Right.
neither the things that are in the world.
Right.
If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
Right, so you cannot love the world, man. Now, we're not going to say that basically you don't handle your business, but at the end of the day, when you're putting your woman or your career or your children in front of the Most High, then you're not going to be saved. You're going to be destroyed. And your woman, your children, and your career are all attributes of the world. Now, we're not saying you can't have these things, but at the same time frame, you're supposed to utilize a spiritual perspective. Yahweh and Yahushua first, then your family. All right, then your career, then your children, so on and so forth. But nothing exceeds Yahweh and Yahushua.
Apostle Paul, you always talk about balance, and they really go see those gladiator games, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying, through their so-called leisure time.
Right.
Yeah, this 1 Corinthians 9 and 16. For though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glory about, for necessity is laid upon me. Yea, woe.
Necessity. All right, and that same necessity is laid upon us. And there's no glory. Why? Because basically, this is not of us. This gift was given to us by Yahweh Hashem Al-Shai. Now, we're supposed to be glad that we've been called, and Lord willing, we're chosen, but at the same time frame, this is not of you. You did not wake yourself up. All right? Now, you're placed here to await the other elected individuals, and at the same time frame, send that word so the 2/3 can be destroyed, as well as judgment for these other nations, beginning with Esau. Go ahead, bro.
For though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glory about, for necessity is laid upon me. Yea, woe is unto me if I preach not the gospel.
Destruction is upon me if I preach not the gospel. So, goddamn it, if you know the precepts for about the past 6 and 8 months, it's time for you to be out there on the highways and the byways. You can't be no internet prophet. Basically loading up precepts on pages. No, you got to work out your own salvation. When you go into that term workout, it means to achieve and accomplish, or achieve and accomplish. Although this is a team game, but at the same time frame, you have it's individualized when it comes to basically doing what you're supposed to do.
Apostle Barr say the ultimate move of a prophet is going out on the highways and the byways.
Exactly.
And seen in front of all people.
Make yourself a
Sacrifice.
And this 2 Timothy 2 and 3, though therefore endure hardness as a good soldier, Yahushua, no man that war entangle himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a
So
soldier.
you can't be emotional when you go through these trials and tribulations. You have to look at the world, and anything that is connected to the world is basically something temporal. All right, and it's expendable. All right, So that's not to say you're not going to carry things of that nature, but hey, you have to gird up your loins, man. Because Yahushua promised that basically if we follow him and if we attain salvation, we're going to get everything 100-fold anyway. All right? So why not wait and be patient and do what's required of you until that time comes? You know?
Yep. Verse 4. And if a man also strive for masteries,
Strive for the mastery, man. All right, go ahead.
yet is he not crowned, except he strive lawfully.
Right, so you have to strive lawfully, going into fighting that good fight. You know, I think I got that. Get 1 Timothy 6:12.
It's 1 Timothy 6, verse 12. And it says,
And part of basically discontinuing from the world is fighting the good fight. Go ahead, bro. Yeah, sure.
verse 11, but thou, O man of Yahweh Bashem Shai, flee these things and follow after righteousness,
Right, and that's what we're doing by the Spirit of Yahweh. Go ahead.
godliness, faith,
Godliness, what is that? That means righteousness, faith, to believe. Go ahead.
love,
Love.
patience,
Love is an act. Patience is an act, meaning to wait. Go ahead.
meekness,
Meekness, humble. Go ahead.
fight the good fight of faith,
Fight the good fight. Now that good means basically to do it to do it from a moral sense, to fight it from a moral sense of righteousness. Okay, don't cheat. All right, use the script, which are the scriptures, to help you get through it. And now, what's the fight? The fight is this battle we call life. All right, go ahead.
what it said, clothe you like, the shield of faith,
Yeah.
the scriptures.
Ephesians
Yeah,
6 chapter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fight the good fight of faith, lay hold on eternal life,
That's how you lay hold to eternal life, because you have to fight the good fight. Go ahead.
whereunto thou art also called,
Called to be a prophet. Go ahead.
and has professed a good profession before many
And
witnesses.
you profess that by coming out here on the highways and the byways, first and foremost, and being consistent throughout the week. All right?
That's how we got woke up through the Spirit.
Come
Some
on.
apostles and elders and different brothers, man.
All right, last scripture, bro. Galatians 5 and 16. Okay, go ahead.
Galatians 5 and 16. This I say then, walk in the Spirit.
You walk in the Spirit. And when you go into that term, walk in the Greek, it means how a Hebrew regulate his life. Apply the law, statutes, and the commandments. Do like Yahushua did. Use him and Apostle Paul as examples of how to get through this thing we call life, man. Go ahead, bro.
And ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh.
And that is how you defeat your flesh, by basically walking in the Spirit. Don't be spiritual demons, all right? Because these niggas ain't going nowhere but down. This world, as well as them, they're going to be destroyed, all right? Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. Shalom.
Shalom.